All right. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy best day of the week day. I hope everybody had a fantastic day and got a little bit better each and every day. Learned something, grew. Anyways, let's jump into it. Really interesting day. Let's go over everything I did. So we'll start with Bitcoin. On my Friday video, I said anywhere between 80 and 78, I was going to go long. But Bitcoin is not in an uptrend. I mean, long term, yes. Uptrend, yes. Short term, it is in a downtrend. So regardless of if I think that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million or not, that is just an opinion. What is not an opinion is the fact that Bitcoin is in a short-term downtrend. So I said, for me, I would trade Bitcoin for what it is. And that's what I did. So we'll go over here to iBit, and wow, this gap was filled right away this morning, and it just started giving everything back right away. And with the strength of this over the weekend, I really did want to give it a little bit more time and wiggle room. But so this was kind of first thing in the morning, this whole area in here. And as this was breaking down, I knew that I was going to wait for any sort of pop. I was going to sell it. And, that's exactly what had happened here. So as this was moving up, I was getting out of those calls. So those were iBit calls. And iBit, those were May 16, 40 as the expiration, $49 strike price. 388 is what I paid. I sold those for 650, which is a gain of 68%. And you'll remember I said I was going for a little bit more aggressive out of the money calls because I was figuring that this move was going to happen fairly quickly, and I wasn't looking for a huge move in a shorter term trade. The move happened in a single day, well, I guess not a single trading day. Just like with Bitcoin down here around 78 or 80, that was pre-market, so that move had already happened. So very first thing in the morning is why I went long in Bitcoin and MicroStrategy, which I'm still in. So anyways, okay, so then my thoughts with Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin remains the same. I believe the price of Bitcoin long term is going to be much higher than it is right now. Short term, we are in a downtrend, short term. Longer term, yes. Longer term is in an uptrend. But short term, wow, man, on a weekly, this is pretty wild. But shorter term is in a downtrend. So until this downtrend is broken, Bitcoin remains in a short-term downtrend. So that's how I will be treating this. Now, if there's any other obvious good risk to reward entry point to go after this again, I certainly will. I don't suspect in the next couple days that I will. Now this gap was filled here, so we'll see what happens, and that's that. So I traded my plan, and okay, so let's talk about, this is one of the things where it worked, right? So this morning, everything selling off. I was going to wait for a pop. And, you can kind of see on a short-term 5-minute chart that this whole area here was support, broke through there. Short-term, came back up to it. So then it would act as resistance. And, so this time that was the right move, right? This is just a game of probabilities. So that's it. Now moving over to MicroStrategy, I still have equity position in this. And what a nasty reversal, huh? This was up like 13% or something pre-market. 55, 291. So yeah, I mean, like 15%, and gave it all back. I had said short-term price target for this would be right around 300, so probably like 292, something like that. So we'll see what happens. The average cost basis on those shares is right around 239. So I have a decent cushion. I will not take these for a loss. And that is what I will not do with this. So again, pretty decent cushion. Well, not really. I mean, not a huge cushion. But we'll see what happens. Okay, there's that. And gold. So gold, today went long gold. GLD, April 17 is the expiration, $265 strike price. Those are calls at $7.15 is what I paid. Those are currently $7.35. And now let's go over gold. I was really waiting for an obvious place to enter more of a pullback. So this is a 5-minute chart. I kind of had missed this in the morning for the most part. So then I'm watching it all through here. I was waiting for more of a heavy pullback and didn't get one until later in the day. But as this was really starting to gear up, then I was buying calls. And then the pullback that I wanted happened later on in the day, which I was not around for. I was out plant shopping, tree shopping. So I was not around for here, but man, that would have been killer. But anyways, so let's see, why gold, down here, 20 stochastic, broke below the 21-day moving average, regained the 21-day moving average. It's in an uptrend, bull market. Pullback was on the weekly, pullback, right? So, again, I had caught gold a couple times throughout in here, but essentially missed this entire run, but I was not going to chase any of this. So, on a pullback down around the 20 stochastic, 50 RSI, depending on how things looked, I was going to go after it. And, I think silver is ripping as well. And I did really want to go long silver, but, gold is king. So, it's typically you want to go after the market leader. Yeah, and yes, there are times with silver that I've had it work, like throughout in here. I caught that move up here. But just generally speaking, I really only go after gold. So then now let's go over, and gold. My plan with gold is any sort of violent break below these current levels, I would get out. I will give this some wiggle room below these moving averages. After pullbacks and as price discovery happens. That's the lamest freaking term of all time, price discovery. As price discovery happens, strange things can transpire. Sometimes I like to give it, some wiggle room, and sometimes, sure, that definitely does bite me. But just the longer I've done this, the more wiggle room I will give things. Depending on certain situations. So clearly this is in a good uptrend. So there's that. In terms of where to get out of this one, assuming that this will work out, I haven't figured any of that out yet. Probably right around like 29.55. But we'll see how this shapes out. So okay. That's it for everything that I did today. Now, I am going to go over some future trades later on in futures trading later on in this video. But let's get through my entire market analysis. We can't forget to hit bonds here. Cool. That's awesome. I'm not going to go after bonds here, but I love to see them working short term anyways. Again, just any sort of market to go after. Okay, let's look at China here real quick. I think China's, so, above the 200-day moving average, it's now in a clear uptrend. So we can wait for a pretty good chance to go after this. And as a matter of fact, this is getting pretty close. So markets tank after Trump confirms more tariffs. So, okay. All right. So there's China. Let's see China on a weekly chart here. China. Yeah, maybe this could be some sort of cup with handle starting to form. But you guys, wow, look at this on a monthly chart. This doesn't even look that good on a monthly chart. Look at that. Wow. Bam. Okay. So, again, just wait for a more obvious trade, we're just going to wait for an obvious trade. All right. Now let's go over Mag 7. So let's go over Apple, which I realized today said, wow, this looks really good on Monday. I'll go after an equity position. Well, my mind was preoccupied with other things and I didn't go after equity position in it. Again, see, here's the, relatively speaking, I still think that this looks fantastic. Yeah, on a weekly chart, you have this nice wick down here. Yeah, I still think that this looks good. If I would have gone after this today, I would not have sold out in the same day below the 21-day and below the 50-day moving average. I would give it one more day here. Just given the current situation, I mean, markets were close. Had a tough day. Indexes had a tough day. But on Friday you cannot discount the strength. That is pretty wild strength. Weekly chart still looks good, so you want to give it some wiggle room. And not to mention with that equity position, that would be down, like 2-3%, whatever. So anyways, we'll start with Apple. Apple looks pretty good. Let's go over to Microsoft. Still, wow, down 2%. I mean, this thing is really breaking down. We've been talking about this for many months. Many months. And as it, has been a laggard for many months. So if you're looking for what Magnificent 7 stock would perform the worst as things roll over or whenever this bull market is going to end, look for Microsoft, and that is what has happened. Wow, there's this huge gap to fill. That's pretty wild. So after earnings, yeah. Ooh, wow. This is sitting at some serious support that you definitely want to see hold if you're bullish. Wow. And then, you know, yeah, wow. Yeah, weekly chart. Ooh, yeah, see? Um, you know, and pretty extreme levels down here, right? So Microsoft, we did Apple, Microsoft. Let's go over Google since we're on Microsoft. And Google was very shocking to me. Love this chart pattern here. Maybe I got something wrong with this. Maybe this was too wide and loose. I don't know. But this is breaking down to, another pretty good support level here. Wow, very extreme levels. So, man. So, Microsoft looks bad, Google looks bad, but again, if we're only talking short term, it's at pretty extreme levels. So I would expect more of a bounce in a short term, but anything does happen. But longer. I mean, this is clearly in a downtrend. Things are kind of breaking down. Not very good. Let's go over to Netflix. And Netflix continues to hold on. Is this a bear flag right here? It very well could be. Yeah, very well could be right in here. But the 50-day moving average continues to hold up okay. Meta. Let's see how Meta's looking these days. So again, is this a bear flag right here? Wow. Yeah. Very well could be. So then if you have Netflix and Meta breaking down, really the last one holding anything up is Apple. Things are looking a little bit suspect here. So, all right, now let's go over to NVIDIA. But is there anything else to look at before that? Look at NVIDIA, and I mean, just down 8.7%. Man, yeah, see, when I went plant shopping today, when I had left, it was like I saw down 6%. I was like, what? Just, wow. I mean, really falling off a cliff. This is in a no-go zone. Wow. And you guys, I mean, look at, wow, this is really breaking down. Oh my goodness. Look at semiconductor ETF. Look at this. We were talking about this, how semis were underperforming for so long. And then you have, boom, one huge gap down and then another huge gap down. Gap gets filled and just absolutely booted off the 200-day moving average. I mean, wow, heavy volume. Again, I would be more surprised if this continues down. But in terms of this being bullish for any sort of intermediate swing trade, longer term, this is 100% no-go and is not good for markets or anything. I mean, look back here last time this had happened, right? You still had plenty of time. You don't want to chase right here to go short markets. You don't want to chase it quite yet. But I mean, if we're going to get a rally up to like the 200-day moving average or something, then better believe I will be shorting this. And probably markets too. Oh, now, since we're on this topic, I like... no. Okay. All right. I changed my mind. So there's Mag 7. I don't think a single... Oh, Tesla. Let's see how Tesla performed today. When I said, yesterday looked really good. Yeah, it's holding on, all right? It's holding on. 200-day moving average. It's holding on. You could play this below the 200-day moving average to get out, or there's that whole gap to fill. Maybe you want to wait for this gap to get filled, but then there's one down here too at 220. So yeah, that's it. Now let's go over to Dow, and really surprised, honestly, today. I was very surprised with the price action today. Below the 50-day moving average. I was so close to going long Dow. I was so close. But I said, no, wait for a more obvious position. Just wait. And yeah. I mean, it got blasted. Let's look at Russell. I think Russell is totally capitulating, completely breaking down. Yeah. SPY, same thing. Holy moly. Is this breaking this trend line? Oh, it's barely hanging on. Let's go over to the Qs here. There's my trend line. Oh, barely holding on again. Yeah, so that's it. Barely hanging on. I do still think that there will be a trade to take in here. But again, we're talking shorter term, right? More of like a range trade, kind of like what I did with Bitcoin, one of those. There could be one, or more intraday. So with that, oh wait, we went over gold, we went over commodities. Let's look at corn. Whoa. Sheesh. Well, cool. I'm excited to go after corn here in a little bit. Need to wait for a more obvious position to go after this. All right, it's corn. All right, now let's go. Okay, so now I'm going to go over some futures trading. If you guys don't care about futures trading, you can sign off, and I'll see you all tomorrow. But if you do care, which I think a lot of people do, well, first let's look at... Man, I can't believe NVIDIA. It's wild. So wild. Wow, Amazon was down pretty big. Oh, holy moly, Amazon. How can I forget that? Wow. But again, 200-day moving average. It's not time to freak out just yet, but things are really breaking down. Real estate. Yeah, it's moving up with bonds. That's not surprising. Biotech. Getting absolutely crushed. Let's see how Moderna is looking. Absolutely crushed. Pfizer. Crushed. All right. Okay, so now we're going over futures. Okay, so this morning, let's start future trading. So let's start with Qs. Now, Qs gapped up this morning, so I had figured, you just gotta kind of wait and be patient, see how the day and morning plays out. I'm not gonna go after anything. And so I'm looking around NQ, YM, ES. I never really trade ES, so pretty much it's like NQ and YM is basically what I trade for the most part with futures. But I do look at all indexes. during the morning, kind of get like a heat check of what looks the best, what is the strongest. Then I'll go after that one. So we'll start with Dow, my beloved Dow. And this morning, wow. Oh my gosh. That's insane. I was not around for any of this. Wow. You would have caught that one. That would have been a good short right there. So, in the morning, so, here we are in the morning. Let's see, what time did I place this trade? 8:15. So, what is this? 8:05. Okay. So it was right after this candle, yeah. So this is the 8:10 to 8:15 candle right here. Showing some pretty good strength in here, and I figured there would be a good sort of risk to reward and just kind of a little range bound trade with sort of like this sort of area as my stop, right? This area right here. So after this good bullish candle, you kind of use this area as your stop from the previous candle wick at lows as a stop. So that's what I did. Figure you could grab 15, 20 points. So I entered that at 43,851. I got out 43,865 for a 14-point gain. So small, still good, right? With NQs, with the minis, I'm looking for a minimum of a 10-point gain. If we're talking micros, then right around 20. YM 15 is okay. That's like $70 or so per contract or something. So that's what I was looking for. Get in on this one, kind of get out, take a trade, see what transpired. I was still very bullish around this point. I was very bullish through here. I was so close to going long here, like I had said. But man, did things really break down in the afternoon. And like I said, man, what a bummer. We would have caught this one. Look at that. That is textbook breakdown. Wow. Wow. That would have been huge. Wow, was I around for this one? Yeah, I was. Okay. So that's YM. That was it. Then we're going to go over to micros here. So I definitely alternate between micros and minis for NASDAQ. With minis with NQ, I'm looking for something way more obvious and a trend day. Because trade can get away from you very quickly. So, it wasn't as obvious of a day today or a trend day, although towards the end and through here, man, yeah, see, down through here, I would have been shorting. Oh man, that would have been so killer. But anyways, okay, so let's see, where did we go with this? Was it in here? Okay, so I have these times right now. So 10:30. 10:30. Yeah. Okay. So right through here, and this is right around the area where the gap was filled for the Qs. So that's also very important. If you're playing any intraday trading, if there's any gaps, look for those gaps to get filled and go the other way. So that's what I was waiting for confirmation. These candlesticks in here were good. And again, I use a similar sort of style that I was explaining with YM. So, you can kind of like somewhere in this area, you kind of have some sort of a risk to reward. So the first trade that I placed was at 1036. 1036, 20682. My stop loss was hit at 20664 for an 18-point loss. So I was playing, like I said, just kind of right around in this whole area. But then at 1040, because this still looked good, right? Just because, I got stopped out one time doesn't mean I'm not going to go after it again. I've learned that maybe 2 times should be my maximum to go after it again. If I'm wrong twice in a row, usually I go after that same setup a 3rd time and we'll get waxed. So the second time I go after is 1040 at 20666. 1040. So 20, so like literally right here. Again, with the same exact kind of mindset of below that area, maybe 10 points, 14 points, 10 points, something like that, get out. Close this out at 20688, which is a 20-point move. 20688, so right here. So like I said, around 20 points for the micros is minimum for micros. Sure, you could buy, a bunch of contracts, right? And look for a smaller move. But I guess it's all relative, right? So there's that. And then as this was pulling back, I got in at 10:45, 10:47 is when I got in, 681. So pulled back, was supported, rocketed up, 20681, so literally right here, and then just blasted higher, like almost immediately. And that's something that doesn't happen too much, but, sometimes with futures it can get nutso. But anyways, got out like right here, 20756. I was going to have my profit right around, this area, 20740 or 35, somewhere in here. But as I'm setting my stop loss, I'm kind of chilling, for a second or two, set my stop loss. This thing blasts up 205 through where my target was. And so then, I'm going to get out, right? So that was a huge 75-point move. And that was it. That's all I did for futures. Like I said, I had left, was gone plant shopping. And so I basically traded my plan today with futures. And, it sounds simple and nothing to celebrate, but let's get rid of these. It drives me insane the next day. But what was I going to say about that? Sometimes it's not simple to trade your plan and emotions get in the way. And so what was the plan for trading futures today? Was wait in the morning, not do anything, wait for the gap to fill and see what played out, look at what was strongest, go after that. I was not expecting any sort of trend day up. I wasn't expecting this down either, but I wasn't expecting any sort of trend day up, so I wasn't going to trade it as a trend day. So that turned out to be good today. Now the plan for tomorrow is same thing. I'm going to wait for the morning Maybe give it an hour or so, unless it is a perfect setup. See what happens, see what transpires, see what way to go after it. Are we going to be range bound? Is it going to be a trend day? You know, and then go from there. Qs are hanging on to this trend, long-term trend. I mean, yeah. YM, ugh, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. Range bound, maybe could do some sort of trend there. RTY, just I don't even know. I don't. It's a no go. ES, same thing. Holding on to this trend. We'll see. We'll see if this can hold and start moving up. Look for the afternoon to be sweet. That's it, you guys. I will catch you all tomorrow.